Okay, and we're back. But yeah, like I was saying, or like I mentioned, I've been watching a lot of Tested today. I I've spent the last like week and some change catching up on some stories that I keep up with, and I won't go into that here. But after that, I was decompressing from the stories, and it's a problem that I run into a lot, whether it's finishing a game or a book, or whenever I finish some sort of medium like that I've invested day in day out. Because like, see, that's the thing about doing these let's plays. In order to keep my editing load light, I play for a lot less than I usually do. Like that last session, the one where I think I played for 3 hours on that last session. I think that was my longest session, and it doesn't really touch what I usually play for. Like when I am playing these games, when I say I can get through them in a few days, when I'm playing these games, all of my free time is in these games. If any of it, I sit down and I play them from whenever I have free time to whenever I go to bed. And that's the way I've been reading the past week. It's like get up, get the stuff that I need to do done, things like that, find something to eat, sit down and read, and spend 6 or 7 hours a day reading. Like, if I was making money on reading or things like that, I'd be like working total overtime. Like, I'd probably be working 60 plus hours a week. And but like I said, but it's a series that I'm behind on. And in a week, I tore through 3 full stories and caught up to where the fourth one is now because it's an in progress thing. So so yeah, that's been happening, and I can't remember if that has a scan or not. The crate itself, I don't think it does. Um, but yeah, so after that, I finished up yesterday. Yesterday morning, I finished up, and I remember I spent like 10 minutes just sitting in my recliner at a loss for what to do with myself because I was still winding down from all of the stuff that had happened in the story. Um, and like I'd pretty much spent all of my time. I'd throw Steve up on the laptop and just listen to him play stuff that I'd watched him do before, and read. And that was it. Or put on music and read, and that was it. And so like after I got done reading yesterday, I didn't have I felt I was like in this vacuum. It's like if you've ever got really sucked up in a book, and you spent like a day or like longer than a day or longer, reading that book, and then that book's over and there's no more to read, and you just feel like you don't have anything to do at all. And it's not that you don't have anything to do. There's always something to do, but you're just kind of stuck in this weird limbo where the book doesn't exist anymore. Because if you read like I do, um, I get I get neck deep in the books I read. Especially when they're really good, and whenever the medium allows me to, I get super deep into what I'm doing, whether it's a game or a book or whatever. Because I love immersion, and I know, but like that's just me. That's my thing. I love being immersed in a thing, to the point where when a book's over or a game's over or something like that, for about 10 minutes to sometimes a few hours, my head is still stuck in that world. Like, it's especially if I've been doing it for an extended period of time. Like with that story, I spent over a week with my head in that particular universe, and my head was still stuck in that particular universe. And I mean, there were some jarring things going on, but it wasn't even that. It wasn't even the things that were happening. It was there was just it was just I was so consumed. My mind was so consumed with the universe itself that I was still lost in it, and that's why I felt like, okay, I have nothing to do, because this for now, because the next chapter isn't out yet or whatever, this universe doesn't exist for me, and it won't exist for me until the next chapter comes out, and it just takes a while to decompress from that. So yeah, I forget where I was going with that 5-minute ramble. Um, I really do. But I was decompressing from that yesterday, and like today I woke up and I was cool again. I had my head back in my right spot, and I finished up a chapter of my own writing and sent it off to my dude, and I finally wanted to start this. I think that's the other reason I've put this off, the reading. Um, it's the series I'm reading is I read the first one when it was still being published, when the chapters were still coming out. I caught up with it about halfway through, and I stuck with it till the end. And then after that, and this is before it was going to be a series, or at least before it was known to us, the readers, that it was going to be a series. So I put it down, and then the sequel came out, and I didn't pick it up because I wanted to read big chunks at the same time. And then a sequel turned into a trilogy, turned into 4 stories, turned into, if I'm not mistaken, the Arthur has 12 stories planned out for this series. So I like, and he published the 5th story of that series, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before. And it hit my thing, and I'm like, I'm gonna catch up on these. I want to. So I was like, that's when I spent 9 days reading, and I read, because like I said, I didn't reread the first one. I started with the second one, and I read through the next 3 that were finished, and I caught up with the 5th one that's being written now. And thankfully, unless he's doing more than 1 chapter today, that chapter's already gone up for today. Because I can't promise that if I'm halfway through a session and a chapter goes up, I won't just stop and go read the chapter and then come back. I'm that into this universe right now, and I've been hounding one of my friends about reading it, and I'm sure he's sick of me by now. But yeah, so like I get super invested in these universes, and I think that's one of the things that has been odd to me about doing Let's Plays like this. It's not the way I play games. If I'm going to sit down and play a game by myself, which is what I'm doing, I'm going to pay attention to that game. And I think that's half the reason I got so lost towards the end of Prime. Because I got so caught up in trying to talk and then trying to be interesting and stuff like that, that I wasn't getting into the universe. And that's half the reason I want to try to do this playthrough as complete as possible. Because I know that if I stop and I don't remember all of the lore's word for word or anything like that. I'm not like that, in the know about this game. But I do know that like I remember a lot of the basics, and I'm not super up to date on this one, and I know what I'm supposed to do here, but I'm out of missiles, so I've got to wait till friggin' things respawn. But I know enough that I can get super immersed in it, and like I'm the guy that reads all of the secondary codexes on Mass Effect and can tell you how the guns work. I'm that guy when it comes to when I'm invested in a universe. I'm invested, and I'm there for the long run. Like, I get super into these things. I can tell you how the guns work. I can tell you how the mass relays work. I can tell you what the Mass Effect actually is. All that kind of stuff. And if I could remember math half as well as I could remember like Mass Effect trivia, I probably wouldn't be at home, out of school, and unemployed right now. Anyway, that's my timer. We'll pick this up next episode.